seconds to play. They look for the backdoor lob. Myers outside the long three.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Step on the blue tape here. Take a picture.
Thank you. Thank you. This is certainly an honor, and it's certainly something I never really thought would ever happen. And so I want to say good evening. I want to first of all congratulate Ron and Roger, both of you, for also being inducted into the Kansas Broadcasters Hall of Fame. Congratulations to you. I want to thank Marty Melia, who sits right down here below me, for nominating me for the Hall of Fame. Not only him, but also Sasha Sanguinetti, who many of you know. And I just want to say thank you, Marty. Appreciate it. To be included in the names that have already been mentioned, the Hall is truly humbling. I want to say this. I believe I had the privilege of working for some of the greatest broadcast people this industry has ever had. Kay Melia. Some of you know him, some of you don't know him. The late Kay Melia hired me in 1971, and the rest is history. Kay gave me my first real shot. But also Bob Schmidt, the owner of KLOE Radio and Television. Talk about an owner. I think I worked for one of the best owners in broadcast business history. I admired Bob Schmidt. He believed in me. I believed in him. And because of those two guys, I'm here today. Certainly part of it. Now, I've been around a long time. In fact, I told somebody the other day, they congratulated me, and I said, well, listen, when you get to be 76 years old, you might make it to the Hall of Fame. The only thing, I'm old. And I guess that's my claim to fame, maybe. I'm old. I've had several stories, and those of you that have broadcasted, we all have gaffes. I'm going to tell you a couple of them that I had. And I've had many, to be honest with you. Some of them I wouldn't want to share with you. But this was early in my broadcast career at KLOE. Back in the 70s, KLOE was just an AM station. We had broadcast play-by-play that was tape delayed, and we would play it back the next morning. On Saturday morning, a football game, or on Saturday morning basketball, whatever it was. And in the studio, we had 3 cart machines. They were 8-track tapes, really what they were. Right, Marty? 8-track tapes. That's really going back. The top machine had the open and close. The middle machine had the commercial for the sponsor, and the bottom had actualities. That is, if you interviewed somebody in sports or in news, you'd run those on the bottom machine, and it was controlled by the guy doing the programming. In my case, it was sports. Well, I had gotten my sportscast ready that day, and it was a weekend coming up, and KU was going to be playing North Carolina State, I think. It's been a long time ago, 1975, in the Liberty Bowl in Memphis, Tennessee, and I'd made the arrangements to be able to interview Coach Don Fambro that morning to use on my sportscast that evening. And I got his comments, and I had it all ready in the tape machine, and I took it into the guy running the board, and I said, here, put this in here, and when I call for it, I'll just push the button and it'll play. So I went about doing the sportscast, and lo and behold, I said, I talked to Coach Fambro this morning. I asked him about the keys to the game tonight against North Carolina in the Liberty Bowl, and I hit that button, and on came, hee-haw, hee-haw, the Jacobs Appliance Mule Train sale. Needless to say, I was really upset. So upset that I never finished the sportscast. Another such time happened in 1999, and I know that Adam Cadavi is here, but Adam, you weren't at Scott City at the time. But Colby, over the years, has had a real tough time beating Scott City, really, in anything. But this night, football, we just couldn't beat Scott City. But not in 1999. We went to Scott City and we beat them 35-0. And we were excited, and my color analyst that night was Rob Ross, the middle school principal at Colby Middle School. Very good. The game was over. I go to a commercial. I don't turn my mic off. The guy at the station didn't mute our mics. And Rob Ross looks at me and he goes, "Boy, did we kick their ass." No sooner did I finish the broadcast and my wife calls me and said, "Rich, that just went out over the air." What went out over the air? Rob Ross's comment that he kicked his ass, their ass. Well, Rob Ross, nonetheless, Monday morning heard about it from the students in the 7th and 8th grade and never lived it down. So there's been a lot of crazy things that have happened, I can tell you that much. I can tell you also that I've had the opportunity as a broadcaster, having been in Illinois, having been in Kansas, and even Nebraska, as was mentioned in the video, I've had the privilege of broadcasting state championship basketball in Colorado, Nebraska, Illinois, and Kansas. Not many people get that opportunity. I had the opportunity to do that. I've also had the opportunity to broadcast some of the great athletes that have ever put on a uniform of any kind. I'll never forget the day that I got to do the broadcast between Illinois and Michigan State when Magic Johnson was a freshman at Michigan State University. And the next year, they, of course, won the NCAA tournament when they beat Larry Bird and Indiana State. But not only that, Isaiah Thomas and Mark Aguirre, who went on and played at DePaul and then in the NBA. Great opportunities to broadcast some of the great athletes of all time in my lifetime. I've had the opportunity to interview coaches that I would have never dreamt I'd get the chance to do. Guys like John Wooden at UCLA, when he came to Colby Community College, and I had a chance to interview John Wooden, the great John Wooden. Then I had the chance to interview Bob Knight. I didn't get a chair thrown at me. Everything went pretty good with old Bob. I also had the chance to interview Bill Snyder when he came to Kansas State in 1989, when I met him at the Kaw Valley Catbackers in Manhattan. And so I've had that opportunity as well. Back in Kansas, what have I had the opportunity to do? Had the opportunity to broadcast the Shrine Bowl, state football championships, basketball tournaments, wrestling tournaments, baseball, softball. I had the privilege of broadcasting the very first four-time wrestling champion in the state of Kansas, Doug Dewell in Goodland, when he won 4 championships in a row, and then actually a 5th championship when he won the Grand State in 1975 or 76, whichever it was, I can't remember. But privileges like that just don't come along, and I'm grateful for it. I will also tell you that I would have none of this. None of my opportunities I've had would not be mine if it hadn't been that I gave my life to Jesus Christ as a 16-year-old kid at Berean Academy in 1967. And He's provided me the opportunity. He gave me the voice, the endurance, the doors of opportunity. Without Him, none of this would have been possible. And that's when I surrendered my life in 1967. Nobody in broadcasting makes the journey 55 years like I have without coaches, without players, without advertisers, athletic directors. It takes a lot of people, and probably more than anything, the fans. And it was in 2009 when I had to make that decision to do something else, because I had lost the opportunity at the radio station in Colby. They had new owners. They wanted to do their own thing. I did something unique, and I told Ron Thomas this earlier today when I visited with Ron. Colby wasn't doing any sports on radio at the time. And I had a guy come to me and say, "Rich, why don't you do Colby Sports on the Colby station? Why are you on the Goodland station with Colby Sports?" And that's when I formed a sports broadcasting booster club, and I went and bought time on the local radio station, and I did that for 15 years. That changed in 2009. I said, "What am I going to do now?" These two guys came to me and he said, "Why don't you try live video streaming?" I said, "Really? I don't know anything about it." You don't know how to turn a computer on? I said, yeah, I can turn it on. And I can pull the plug out and turn it off, but that's all I know. I don't know anything about this computer business. Well, they showed me. My son joined our company, Open Spaces Sports, and today we're broadcasting 1,000 broadcasts of Western Kansas teams all over Northwest Kansas and around the world, something I never, ever thought would happen. Never thought it would happen. And I will say this, the radio industry was not streaming 10, 15 years ago, but you're all streaming today. I don't know where we'll be 10 or 15 years from now. I won't be around to see it. But I can tell you it's changing, and you guys have changed with it. Do I still believe in radio? You bet I do. It's the local voice to the people in the community. Every radio station has that opportunity to do it. And I know you're streaming today because it's the way it's being done. So I want to thank those advertisers who make it possible. Is it not true? Is it not true that advertising makes the world go round? I wouldn't be broadcasting if it wasn't for sales. Selling makes the world go round in our business, broadcasting. It makes it go around whether you're a car dealer, whether you're an implement dealer, whether you're selling hardware supplies. Sales, sales, sales. It's the way it is. Now there's one more portion that I want to say that I think I have to give thanks to, and that's my family. And I think my family is really, truly my legacy, if you want to know the truth. Judy, you've stood by me for 56 years. We made a few moves, Alliance, Nebraska, Illinois, Topeka, back to Western Kansas. There were times probably you questioned all those moves, but nonetheless, you stood by me, and I appreciate it. I appreciate it a lot. You've been extremely supportive. You have been the steady rock behind my microphone every single time. And to my kids, I want to thank Cody, and I want to thank Kenny, and I want to thank Christy. You've all broadcasted with me. And it's been my pleasure, and it's been an honor to do that. Not many kids get to do that with their dad. And for me, it's been a privilege and an honor. Paul and Casey, you've never been behind the microphone with me. You've got your own professions, but you've always been there to support me in anything and everything that I've done. And I wouldn't be here today, as I said earlier, if it wasn't for Jesus Christ himself, who gave me the ability to do what I've been able to do for 56 years. And guess what? I'm not done yet. I love what I do. I'll do it again till God takes my breath away, the way I see it. So Judy, kids, great-grandkids, you are my legacy. So tonight, I accept this Hall of Fame induction with gratitude. And for the colleagues that have been with me, thank you so much. And all I'm going to say right now, and some of you have heard me say it before, thanks for your time this time. And now until the next time, so long. Thank you.
Well done, sir.
Thank you. Thank you.